The following announcement has been paid for by the Mike World Order. Oh man. Welcome everybody to episode 3 of the Mike Cook Guys podcast, live and in full effect. Well, not really live because it's a podcast, but you see where I'm going with this. As usual, I'm your host with the most, Mike Cook. The guy whose first and last name you pronounce it like it's one word. The guy who's also the leader of a faction that he created. And also the guy who, in his own comparison, cooks better than half of your husbands, boyfriends, significant others, side pieces, and all of the above. I'm that guy. Tonight's episode, I was quite hesitant, very hesitant, to even want to do. And as I was talking to one of my good friends, the president of my fan club, whose name I won't mention, so we'll refer to her as the president of my fan club. And even I told her how hesitant I was about wanting to do this episode. You guys know me. I don't hold back, but I won't mention who you are. I only do it by code. Tonight's episode is entitled Tabooed Confessions of a Coworker. Now, most people, they're saying you're walking on thin ice, or it's a thin line to mention this. For the record, look at it from my point of view and the point of view of others. For all you people out there, who are you around mostly? Your coworkers or your significant other? And these are the ones that are working full-time jobs, hectic retail jobs, guys or women who work 2 jobs. I want you to think about that for a moment. How often? I look at it like this. I'm around the people at my job 40 plus hours a week. So you're looking at over 80 hours every 2 weeks. And my other job, you're talking about maybe 20 to 30 hours a week. So you're looking at between 40 to 60 hours every 2 weeks. Only problem is, I find more women attractive at my main job than I do the other one. But for those who know where I work at, you guys know why. But this episode, we're taking history in terms of the past and whatnot. Because if I were to have mentioned all the women at my current job that I find very attractive, this episode will probably be about 5 parts long, maybe 12 hours long. I probably would have to put it straight to DVD. And then offer you guys an 8x10 with my signature on it, because it'll be that big of a collector's item and whatnot. But I'm only pointing out ones that stick out the most. So, let's open up the vault Let's crack open Pandora's box. Let's do the things and say the things that most people would never be brave enough to say. Why? Because that's how I am. That's the person that I be. And who knows, if you're good, you might find out tonight's special contest. So, that being said, let's go with the first one. First job I ever had, I was a cart pusher at Walmart. The job sucked. But you figure it's the first job, you're a junior in high school, and you got money that you thought you never have extra in your pocket. So it's understandable. Now this is Walmart we're talking. Not too many hot people work at Walmart. But there was one I remember. Well, yeah, I'm going to go details. It's my podcast. I can do that. It was a white chick. This is pre-Get Out, so I'm fine. And at that time, being 17 years old, I didn't know what the meaning of a barracks whore was. But that just goes to show how mind shelter I was, because I was in my own world of weightlifting. But this chick, beautiful, very cute. She lived in Beaufort from by way of Michigan. But the one thing I found out about her through phone calls, every weekend she was with a different Marine, until I guess she eventually married one, and I stopped being friends with her because he didn't like the fact that she was friends with a black dude or a guy of any color. And of course she was dumb enough to, submit to him. My thing is, as I've said numerous times, I don't turn my back on my friends. Even if I'm in a relationship, I make time for my friends, That's pretty much it for my first job. That was the only crush I really had. Moving forward to the next job I had at TJ Maxx. And the only reason why I'm going with TJ Maxx is because I'm not counting the work-study job. Out of all the women that stuck out the most, I'd have to say code name Mac. It was this Japanese woman, and when I first saw her, I thought she was like very beautiful, even though she had on like 30 pounds of makeup. But you figure at age 19, age 20, you figured, that's cute. I think I was that age. Maybe I was probably a couple years older. This was not too long after I had feelings for codename Orchid, who was a DJ and a dancer. And I was like madly in love with her, but she's not a coworker, so it doesn't count. But this woman I thought was like so cute. And just hearing how she would talk. And it was so funny because my college buddies would always give me so much shit about it, because every time she saw me, she was like, "Hey, Mike. How you doing, Mike?" Like, she would literally stretch out the I and the K in Mike. It was so funny. And I'm sure a lot of old friends who hear this podcast, they're going to laugh their butt off because of it. Because that was literally how she acted. Although she was also ignorant as hell too. One person told me she was like racist. But then she was like, "No, Mike, I'm not racist. My ex-husband black, so I'm not racist." But you only married one black dude, so I don't know. They always say if you were born in Japan after the before the mid-80s, my generation, your generation was considered racist, you know. Because that's what the parents would tell you. Don't date the black. The black is so bad. Date the white man. White man's so good to you. He may beat you up every now and then, but you stay with him because he has money. So much money. So, I don't know. But I thought she was cool at first, but then once I saw her true self, oh man, I regret ever having an interest. Like, seriously. Like, she almost made me lose my job. Almost made me lose my job because there was one day I called her and it was like, the store was on lockdown. And I called her and I said, hey, I don't think it's a good idea if you're going to come in at this time because the store's on lockdown because of a dumb customer. You know, I left that as a text message. She wanted to tell the coworkers it was harassment, my manager. And I told my manager it wasn't harassment. I showed her the conversation on my phone, her response and all that. And she was like, oh, so she lied. I said, exactly. She lied. I said, looking at past conversations, come on now. So, all in all, she made herself look like a fool. But I think it was the fact that she was ashamed she was with a younger black guy. Hey, I can't blame her. If I was a Japanese woman in my early 40s, you know, I'd probably be ashamed too. Like, what am I doing with this young guy? He has no money, he has no set ambition, and he has no direct target of what he want to do in life. You know? So, it was crazy. It was really crazy. But, yeah, it was just so crazy. And then we moved forward to when I worked at the school. I'd say there was a couple. And I think the two that came out to mind, one codename ESOL, because she was an ESOL teacher. And that's how a lot of Hispanic students related to me, because they thought I was Puerto Rican. I was like, whatever. I had a little crush on her, but I think it was just how she acted. She acted too dumb. And I ain't saying that in a bad way. I mean, like, dumb as in common sense. I mean, yeah, I get it. You're also a woman in your 40s with kids and, you know, a husband you divorced from because he wouldn't make you happy and you kept having panic attacks. And I was there every time you had a panic attack, so you would constantly call and message me about it. So, you know, it's crazy. But I broke that off quick because, you know, I've learned not just younger women play games, older women play games too. Then there was a second one who you could tell by how she acted. She had like the biggest crush on me. And she was the Chinese teacher. Just was so, the way she acted, like as soon as she saw me, she was like, oh, Mr. Cook. Now mind you, I'm not putting out myself as this God's gift to women. I just respect women that I have, I guess, admiration for, rather than submit to their absolution. I don't know. At that age, young and dumb. But to this day, I still have the gift she gave me, which was this bottle opener that was made from her homeland, China. Because she went to China to visit family, and she came back with souvenirs. Not everybody got souvenirs, but I was one of them. So when that happened, like I said, I used that bottle opener to that day. And whenever friends come over to drink beers and whatnot, that bottle opener is right there ready to be set and open. But, I mean, there was like a lot to look at when I worked at the school, but in terms of attraction, there was probably, like I said, one or two. But I'm starting to learn. I think I'm attracted to women with the most flaws in their life. I was like, maybe I'm attracted to women that are just as broken as I was. And to an extent, probably still am. And when I mean broken, I don't mean like financially, just at one point spiritually. I don't know. But it was just crazy how she would like every morning come to my office. Hi, Mr. Cook. And every time, like, she would bring snacks, certain dishes, you know, her fried rice. You know, it was every time she always had like something. And I guess it was because I was so big on the Asian culture and how I respected it. She was impressed by it, you know. I wonder how that teacher's doing. She was awesome. And then after I left, I ended up moving up here. And the first job I snagged was Casual Mail, the big and tall store. But couldn't really say I was attracted to the female co-workers that worked there. Maybe one, and that was the assistant manager, only because she was really cool and chill as hell. Yeah, she was younger, but the way she acted, it was like, felt like she was kind of older than me. But once she like told me about her life story, bits and pieces of it, I completely understand. And I take my hat off to her because, you know, you stop your livelihood just to help your family. Like, you took away your best years, which is the 20s, your early 20s, just to help your family. And I get that. But then I found, you know, my main job, which is the place that we never mention on neither this podcast or the Mike and Maury podcast. You want to talk about so many women. I'll admit it, even my own current boss, you know, I think she's very attractive. But that's just an opinion, you know. You can tell your boss how beautiful and how cute she is and still be respectable about it without sounding like some creeper. But I guess working there, there's tons that I've seen past and present, you know. I'm only going to mention a handful that stuck out the most because, let's face it, once again, if I mention all the people at the current job I'm at, then, you know, we would have like 12 episodes. That alone would be a season itself. And that's pretty amazing in my opinion. So we're going to start it off with code name. What's a good code name I can say this for this woman? Okay. Code name Hot Mom from Data Center. That I actually thought was half black at one point. Like Mariah Carey half black. Like that much. That's crazy saying that, but this coworker, she's pretty cool, pretty chill. I put my foot in my mouth saying I was going to get her a panda for her birthday because I am the panda man. And no lie, it's almost a year later since her birthday, and I haven't got her a panda. I'm so sorry. I have not forgot about you. You will get your panda soon at a later date, I guess. Like I said, I haven't forgot. I really haven't forgot. But what cracked me up about her when I first saw her, I was like, I thought she was half black. Because she kind of reminded me of a brown-haired Mariah Carey in terms of comparison. Mind you, she looked way better than Mariah Carey, because Mariah Carey is at the point where she's on her, it's hard to explain how I'm not attracted to someone like Mariah Carey. People look at me like I'm crazy when I say it. Once upon a time, yeah, but not now. But, I mean, can't really say anything negative about her except that she's real cool and chill as hell, and I owe her a panda. So, moving forward, the next one, code name, Work Wifey. This woman has been, within a short amount of time, she's becoming like my best friend. After Big Maury, went on to greener pastures, I didn't have that person that would, always say, hey man, keep focused. So we ended up like chatting and whatnot, ended up becoming good friends, foodie critics. She's an old school wrestling fan. That's cool. But it's funny every time I compliment her, she'd be like, you so stupid. You know what I'm saying, son? You dumb. I know that was like the worst impersonation, but that's because my voice is getting raspy and I've had half a bottle of sangria already. Muy delicioso. But, it's funny because I've always had the preference of Asian and Latin women. But here's the funny part. She's black. But I honestly thought she was half black and half Asian. Go figure, huh? So because of that, she's like, ain't no way. I was like, yes, way. I thought you were half and half. I mean, you went to a Japanese school in when you were in high school. So, and so of course that was my first assumption. All right, she's half and half. Probably her mom's Japanese or her dad's Japanese. I don't know. But I was wrong. But she's one that's highly exceptional. And sadly, she's married. And if I had the sound effect of people booing, I'd be blasting that too. But, every time I see her in the morning, hey, what's up, work wifey? Her coworker in front of me, I'm like, what up, sis-in-law? Boom, fist pound. So, it's hilarious. Even when we had like the little banquet last week, took a photo, and pretty much that's the funny part. You found your best friend if there's moments where y'all end up wearing the same color outfits, and the first thing she tells you when taking a picture is hide my pudge. And I'm looking at you like, well, what about hiding my pudge? My pudge I got more pudge than you. Even though I probably dropped about 3 pounds in 2 days with this detox smoothie I've been drinking that's been sending me to El Baño too mucho. But it's one of those things where when it comes to like looking for women you kind of wish, if you had that ideal woman, you wish it was like your best friend, and that's one of those best friends. Moving forward, I know y'all gonna ask me off the bat, is anybody from Zoo Squad gonna be mentioned? The answer, yes. How many members are gonna be mentioned? Only one. And it's a hard, well, actually, it wasn't really a hard decision on the one I was going to mention, because this member I'd never mentioned. Pretty much everyone knows about all the members except this one. So I will refer to this member as codename Very, very shy. Very, very shy. Or so I thought. So, when this girl started at the job that we never mentioned, she was the replacement for Huckster in the Zoo Squad. And that's when, like I said, the original 4 was formed. And she was always quiet and, you know, shy and constantly smiling like every 30 to 60 seconds. Not in a bad way. I mean, it's at the point where, you know, it's at the point where even I ended up smiling more than usual. Because she just has that energy where she can make probably the grumpiest person in the world smile, because of her nature, her attitude, which is cool. But I've only seen how she was at work. But more and more the past couple of months, she's been like coming out of her shell. And recently, she kicked that bitch open. The shell, that is. And it was hilarious, because once I got to know her, then I grew this odd attraction that you would have never thought you would have for that person, but it happened, which is probably another reason I was a little bit hesitant to do this episode, because I don't hold back on what I say. But there's just this hidden attraction. It's not just the being shy. It's just, I think once she got out of her shell and opened up and her fun side came out, then it's like, okay, you do have similarities to somewhat like me. When you get home, you're an old person. But when you get out somewhere and you're there, then, you know, it's like the flick of a switch, I suppose. And, you know, probably like me, don't like big crowds. If there is a crowd, it's a crowd of people I already know who they are, so I don't feel endangered. But even these days, you can be in a crowd of people you know and still have danger. I don't know. But once again, I was talking to mi presidente of mi fan club, and I was once again hesitant about it. So, yeah. It's just crazy. It's crazy how I've thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. But it's one of those things, you know it's not going to happen. Plus, you're also enjoying life as the reigning, defending, undefeated, 6 title defenses, as the never marriage openweight champion. Even though her and the group of the squad, they swear out, you're going to get married. No, we're not rushing that. I'm only 30. I got plenty of time. I probably got at least, I think I can pull off another 10 years of being single before I'm serious enough of getting married. And that was sarcasm. Because according to codename Lil Sis, my biological clock is ticking. but I'm only 30, so that's kind of odd, you know? But reading the article she sent, it is true. Biological clock is ticking. Everybody I know has either got kids or they're married. And right now, part of me wants it, but part of me doesn't want it because of the work schedule. So, yeah. So there's your little shout out to you, codename Super Shy. Continue being the person that you are, because lately it's been interesting, to say the least, finding out how you really are. So hopefully we find out more about you. Get rid of that shyness, you know. This is 2018. It's the year of being ambitious. The year of being ambitious and the year of being, I guess, semi-arrogant. I don't know. But at the same time, still being humble about it. Moving forward. Next one. Let me draw this one out of the bowl. Okay. So, we've already mentioned my boss. And that's all I'm going to keep that to a minimum. But, and I've already mentioned about Catherine Zeta-Jones in the last episode. So I don't need to mention about her either, because that was pretty much like the preview to get the spark going. And then, who else can I think of right now off the top of my head? I would say codename Funky Chicken, but aka Panda Woman, but really haven't had no moments with her other than dancing with her doing the Funky Chicken. I was about to say the fucking chicken, but the Funky Chicken. Hey, if you got courage to do that when you know you can't dance, in my opinion, you're bold as hell to do that. So I guess we might as well mention honorable mentions, right? Right? Yeah. Honorable mention. What's another one? Well, there's this one coworker. Cute little Hispanic girl. Wears glasses. Got a daughter. Very beautiful. El Salvadorian. Only gripe I have is that at work we never really talked. But there's a few times I had conversations with her on Snapchat or Facebook. And it's like, right there, you know, okay, it's not there, but she's still very attractive to look at. So, it's a weird taboo, because, key word, when you think of taboo, you think of something that's forbidden, you know, forbidden fruit, forbidden love, forbidden feelings, you know, which is why I did this episode. I did this episode because not only did I wanted to raise the curiosity of those listening, but I wanted to express it as well. Is it working? Are you listening? The people who were mentioned, the code names, I'm sure you cracked the code and figured out who is who. If this world was as perfect as they claim it is, probably in your own ways, ladies, you'd probably change a different outlook on my life in certain things. But we don't live in a perfect world, do we? So who knows? Tomorrow's not promised to us. The weeks aren't promised to us. Paydays aren't promised to us. But I do know this. There's a reason why it's called a taboo, once again. And the more that I talk about this episode, and the people I mentioned, it does raise that, you know, what if life was with this person? That's why I did this episode. But at the same time, that's why I was also hesitant. Because I'm sure once you listen to this episode, you figure a different part of you would probably look at me at a different shade. But at the same time, I picked out these women because in their own way, they probably would change me to be a different person. They would probably have it to where in life I would be ambitious and go back to being a hard lover and want to do and go above and beyond. And, you know, there wouldn't be no such thing as the never marriage open weight title, which I plan on getting that as an actual title in 2018. I'm talking to the guy who's the belt maker to add that, you know, second part in. So my parting statement on this episode is this: do not be offended, but at the same time feel privileged that part of me has opened up to you. Sadly, it had to take a podcast to do it, to express that if life was easier and if the tables were turned, there's no telling. All that I know is that I'd probably be that guy who would put 100 times 100% in just to ensure that I back up everything I say, because men, women, teenagers, kids, your word is only as good as what you make of it. If your word's not good, then you're not good, in my opinion. That being said, episode 4. Who's going to be on episode 4? I'll tell you who's going to be on episode 4. I'm going to have the great Smooth T from season 3, episode 3, when Big Maury was on there. We're also going to have future guests. Like, we're going to do part 2 with Jose, because a lot of y'all loved the Jose episode, although some of y'all voted it as the most ratchet episode because, 1, we were drunk off our asses, 2, we paused because the pizza man was there, and 3, his dog Kira was constantly barking. But that's what made the episode unique, you know, because, mind you, not every episode of the Mike Cook Guys podcast is going to be perfect, the settings and whatnot, but that's how I want it to be. Because everybody can do a podcast. Everybody's been doing podcasts. I do mine as a hobby, and now I got that spark back to where now I want to do episode after episode after episode, and I'm picking up for lost time because I'm making 2018 what 2017 should have been. And mark my words, that's going to happen. Now, some of you might feel a bit preoccupied. Some of you might feel a bit jealous of this episode. Relax. In 1 month, it'll be Valentine's Day. You'll be able to do things for that significant other you thought you never do in your dreams. That's what you want. But no, I am going to be your new image. I am going to be your new God. Not really. I just wanted to say that just to sound cool. But everyone knows that Mike Cook is here. The rest of the Zoo Squad, the Zoo Crew. I'm going to get your heart racing in my baggy jeans and be your heavyweight dreams tonight. Let you put your hands on me in my baggy jeans. Be your heavyweight dreams tonight. I am the new champion. If you don't like it, I don't care. If you don't understand what I do on my podcast, I don't care. That being said, goodbye and good night.